In this video, I'll be sharing 20 tips for visiting Tulum. I've organized the tips into 3 sections: planning your visit, what to bring, and during your visit. Before we jump into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more travel itineraries, reviews, and tips videos coming soon. And if you haven't checked out my video all about our Tulum experience, I've linked to it in the description below. Now, let's jump into the tips. If you're coming to Tulum, you can either book a pre-arranged tour with a guide, or you can come and explore on your own. We decided to go with a guide, but we got an hour and a half of a guided tour, and then we have an hour and a half to go and explore on our own, so we have the best of both worlds. But just something to note, you do not have to do a formal tour if you don't want to. Tip number 2 is parking. If you decide to drive yourself to Tulum, there is plenty of parking. However, by early afternoon, this lot was pretty packed. I'd suggest planning an early visit. There is a fee for parking in the official lot, which is around 120 pesos according to our tour guide. It actually costs more to park than it does to get a ticket to enter the ruins. Number 3 is to only buy tickets from a reputable source. There are numerous booths that look official while you're driving in and walking through the shop area, but if you can walk past without issue, it's not the official booth. When you arrive, there are designated ticket booths to purchase tickets right near the entrance of the ruins, or your guide will have yours if you're part of a tour. Tip number 4 is that you need a special filming ticket if you have a GoPro or any sort of professional-looking personal use filming or photography camera.
Para cualquier otra zona arqueológica por la fecha de hoy, únicamente el recibo de video. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Hola, buenos días.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
That is only valid for today?
Yes. Okay.
This was around 45 pesos or approximately $3 US, but they only accept pesos. And if you couldn't understand the Spanish, you can use a single ticket at multiple ecological sites on the same day if you're planning on visiting more than one. Number 5 is to avoid going on a Sunday. Our tour guide actually mentioned this because on Sundays, Mexican citizens can enter the ecological sites for free, which means they can get extra busy. And as you can see, since it's a popular tourist spot, it's already pretty busy. But if Sunday is the only day you can visit, then I'd still say it's worth it to experience the ruins. Tip number 6 is that there's limited accessibility. While we were there, I noticed only a few accessibility ramps to get up and into the ruins. However, there were a few areas where you needed to walk through a small opening in the wall of the ruins, and I didn't notice any other way in. There could be a better, more accessible entrance to the ruins, but we didn't see it on our visit. Plus, there were many stairs and uneven ground as you'd expect at sites like this. So, if you have any issues with mobility or use a mobility device, I would look into this before you plan your visit. Number 7 is to arrive early. The ruins are open Monday to Sunday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Not only does it get busy later in the day, but it gets much hotter in the sun. So I recommend getting there as close to opening as possible, if not right at the opening time. This is for a few reasons. 1, it generally won't be as busy. 2, it won't be as hot. And 3, you can beat the crowds to get your photos, video, and time at the beach. Tip number 8 is to wear comfortable shoes. You will be doing a lot of walking, and a lot of walking through uneven terrain, rocky paths, and even through wet and muddy sections if it's recently rained. Even on a half-day tour, my Fitbit tracked us at over 10,000 steps just for the tour. I'd recommend comfortable running shoes or supportive sandals. I wore my Birkenstocks and was perfectly comfortable, though I was a little concerned about getting them wet. So if I were to go back, I would definitely wear running shoes. Number 9 is to wear breathable clothing. It's probably going to be hot, if not scorching hot, while you're there, so make sure to wear breathable clothes so that you can keep cool. We saw quite a few people who were not dressed appropriately and they looked miserable, so keep that in mind so that you can be comfortable on your visit. So because it's built around mangroves, or mangroves surround the area, there are tons of mosquitoes here. So definitely bring off or some sort of bug repellent. And another thing to note is that there's hardly any shade when you're on the main paths. So you definitely want to bring some sort of hat, like Ellen, sunscreen, and lots of people are even carrying umbrellas. So that's a good thing to note as well. Another tip that we have for you is to make sure that you bring enough water. There's nowhere to purchase water once you are inside of the ruins, so make sure you bring at least 1 bottle per person, especially if it's a hot day like today, you're definitely going to need it. Number 14 is to bring swim gear. You can actually go swimming at the Tulum beach on your visit. Unfortunately, they were doing stair repairs when we were there, so we couldn't go down, but it looked like a lovely beach to cool you down, especially on a hot day. The 15th tip is that face masks may be required for your visit. They were required for our visit once we got to the entrance gates, and they were a requirement of our tour. Not everyone wore theirs, as you can see here, and no one was policing the rule, but just know that they may be required during your visit, and from experience, ours ended up soaked in sweat and rain, so I suggest bringing an extra one just in case.
Okay. Guys, for your photos, you can remove the face mask, smile, take your photo, and put it again, please, okay?
Tip number 16 is that small backpacks, tote bags, and purses are allowed. And if you've made it this far, you know they are needed to carry all of the things I suggested you bring. Just don't bring a large duffel bag, as they would not be allowed inside. Tip 17 is do not trespass. Don't go past the barriers. We saw so many people crossing the ropes and barriers into areas that they shouldn't be in for photos. The barriers are there for a reason. People have vandalized the ruins and even accidentally caused damage while trying to take their Instagram shots. Respect the rules so that others can enjoy the ruins too. Tip 18 is to give yourself extra time. If you are part of a tour, make sure you give yourself enough time to get back to the parking area. But in general, it takes much longer than you think to find your way out of the park and get back through the market area to the entrance. And if your ride is leaving, you don't want to get left behind. Well, we got lost, thanks to that guy.
Definitely wasn't me.
Led us the wrong way. I think we went walking 10 minutes in the wrong direction, but we still have plenty of time to get back to our meeting point. And I really wish we took one of these shuttles. Check these out. But no, they're walking. Number 19 is that you can pay to take transportation to and from the gates from the shop area. It costs about 25 pesos per person, and if I ever went again, I would definitely pay for the shuttle. And lastly, tip 20 is about the shops and restrooms, and this may be the most important tip of this video. There are numerous shops selling souvenirs, clothing, pharmacy supplies, alcohol, snacks, and more on your way in. There are also various restaurants and food vendors, and they even have a Starbucks and Subway. If you need to buy anything, do that on your way in. There are no shops or vendors inside the ecological zone, which means if you're thirsty, you can't buy water. And there are also no restrooms, so make sure you use the ones in the shop area before you head down the long road to get to the ruins. I must say, the best part of doing a guided tour, in my opinion, was that we actually learned a lot about the Mayan history and culture, whereas if we came on our own, we probably wouldn't have known anything that we were looking at, and it wouldn't have been as meaningful of an excursion. But I found that our guide was very knowledgeable. He had his iPad and was showing us a lot about the history and the culture and very interesting facts about sacrifices and the gods, so it was pretty interesting. What do you think?
Overall, yeah, I do recommend getting a guided tour and then just exploring on your own after you know a little bit about the place. Overall, great place to visit.
2 thumbs up.
And there you have it, 20 tips for your visit to Tulum. I hope these can be helpful if you're planning your own trip to Tulum, and if you want to check out our experience, you can watch my previous video all about the ancient ruins of Tulum. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more travel videos coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.